Can I ask you something really honest? How many times this year have you told yourself, we'll figure it out after school gets out? Or let's just get through the spring and then we'll deal with it. So if you're nodding your head right now, I get it. I completely get it because you're not alone and you're not a bad parent for feeling that way. You're an exhausted parent who's been doing everything that you can to hold things together. And here's the thing that I need you to hear today. And I'm going to spend the next 8 minutes or so explaining exactly why this matters. Summer is not just a break from the schedule. For your child's nervous system, and honestly for yours too, summer is a window. And if you've been waiting to start care, if you've been on the fence, if you've been wondering whether neurologically focused chiropractic care is actually the missing piece, I want you to understand what that window actually means and why right now is generally the best time to start. So let's dig in. Most people think about starting chiropractic care kind of like starting a diet. They pick a date, they wait until after the holiday, after the school year, after the sports season wraps up, and I understand that logic. I truly do. But here's what that logic misses. Your child's nervous system doesn't run on a calendar. It doesn't care about the school year. What it cares about is the stress load and the demand. So think about it this way. Imagine your nervous system is like a glass of water. Every stressor that comes in, physical, chemical, emotional, fills that glass. And the problem for a lot of these kids and families I see every day at Haven is that glass has been filled up and overflowing for a long time. Now, here's what happens in the summer. That school bell stops. The alarm clock stops going off at 6 a.m. The homework, the social pressure, the bus rides, the cafeteria noise, the transitions between classrooms, a lot of that stops. And for the first time in months, there's space. There's actually some water spilling out of that glass. Your child's nervous system finally gets a little bit of room to breathe. And that's exactly when we want to come in and help. Now, this is really important. I'm not telling you that summer heals everything on its own because it doesn't, right? Here's what I see constantly in my practice. A family comes in September, back to school, just started, meltdowns are back, sleep's gone sideways, anxiety through the roof, and their focus is gone. And mom says to me, he was so much better in July. I don't understand why it all fell apart again. And I want to be really honest with you here because what happened in July wasn't that he healed. What happened in July was the external pressure dropped and that his nervous system got a little break. But the root issue, the stress that's stuck inside the nervous system, was still there, just waiting for the next demand and the next trigger to start piling back on, waiting for the next chaos to come back. And the second that it did, that glass overflowed again and again. And this is the cycle that families live in, and it's exhausting. And it's not your fault, but it's also not inevitable. What we do at Haven Family Chiropractic with neurologically focused chiropractic care is we don't just manage the environment, we work on the source. We work on the nervous system itself because here's what the research and scans show us every single day. These kids have a nervous system that's locked into what we call sympathetic dominance, fight or flight mode. The gas pedal is stuck on. And it doesn't matter how calm the summer is on the outside, if that internal switch is stuck in overdrive, your child cannot access the rest, digestion, the immune, and healing side of the nervous system. And so they plateau. They feel better for a bit, and then they crash. So what's different about what we do here? Because I know a lot of you have maybe tried chiropractic before. Maybe it helped a little, maybe it felt like it didn't do much, and I want to address that head on. So standard chiropractic is really great for a lot of things. Back pain, neck pain, sports injuries, but what we do here in this office is different. And there's 5 specific things that separate neurologically focused chiropractic care from what most people have experienced. The first is the advanced pediatric training. So general chiropractic school teaches general chiropractic, the kinds of complex neurological cases that I work with every single day. Kids with sensory processing and ADHD and anxiety and autism and seizures and chronic illness, that requires a completely different level of training and clinical protocol. That's why I train through the PX Docs Network and the ICPA, which is the most advanced pediatric neurological chiropractic training available anywhere. The second is the experience. Because if you walk into a practice and there's no kids running around, that's a sign. Now, here at Haven, kids are what we do every single day. And third, and this is where it gets really cool, it's the insight scans. Now, these 3 tests, the neurothermal, surface EMG, and heart rate variability, lets us actually see what's happening within your child's nervous system. We're not guessing and we're not going off of symptoms alone. We can measure the stress, locate it, quantify it, and track it as it changes with care. That's not something that you can do with a symptom checklist. Now, the fourth is technique. Every child's different. Every case has a different history, birth trauma and early illness and physical stressors and emotional load. I need a full toolkit to address each child's unique presentation, and one technique alone cannot do that. And the fifth is a real, true care plan. Not a protocol from 30 years ago, a data driven, neurologically focused plan that's built specifically for your child for the level of stress that they're carrying right now, which is for today's kids unlike any generation before them. So here's why it all connects back to the summer. Because when a nervous system has been carrying a massive stress load and we get to start carrying a season where that external pressure is lower, the nervous system has more capacity to respond, more capacity to shift, more capacity to actually begin the healing process. It's like trying to renovate your kitchen while a full family dinner is happening versus renovating it during a quiet weekend when the house is calm. The work's the same, but the conditions are completely different, right? The results come faster and they stick better. So the families who see the biggest transformations in our practice, the ones that call me 6 months later and say, I didn't even recognize my child, they're almost always the families who started in a season of relative calm and committed to the work before the chaos came back. Summer is that season. So this is where I want this to land. If you've been watching your child struggle, the meltdowns, the anxiety, the focus challenges, the sleep problems, the chronic illness and developmental delays, and you've tried a lot of things, but you're not sure what's left to try, I want you to consider that you may not have addressed the root cause yet. Now, the nervous system truly is that root cause, and summer is the window. The first step is simple. You come in for a consultation, we do the insight scans. In about 30 minutes, we can actually show you what's happening with inside your child's nervous system with no guessing, no vague explanations, real data with real answers and a real plan. Now we have a limited number of new patient spots available each week here at Haven Family Chiropractic. So if this resonated with you, don't wait until fall to figure it out. Check the link within our bio or call our office to get scheduled because we would genuinely love to meet your family and be the missing piece that you've been looking for. This is your time, so let's use it wisely.